Terror Vortex, Scene 1D, take 1, Mark.
Terror Vortex is a neo-noir psychological horror. It's a film I wanted to make. Started making it just with two of my buddies, Jesse Head and Tyler Wittenberg. Got the camera out and said, let's do some kind of like detective movie. And I know I want to do something just weird and crazy, unexplainable things that happen in the film. I just wanted to make it a weird movie.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. Keep going.
One more time.
One time.
Well, at first I was just excited to get involved with something, just doing something. I've never really acted before this movie, but as a kid I was like really into like acting as like different characters and wearing like costumes and stuff. So it kind of like brought me back to feeling like I was a kid and just being like, just getting into my character and being like flamboyant and bombastic and just, you know, really getting into it.
You've seen what this sedative can do, and I have it aimed straight at her temple.
Mark. Take 7. And action.
It was interesting how I fell into this because at first I was just behind the camera assisting, and had worked on some different films, doing a little bit of behind the scenes production. But mainly I've been in front of the camera acting just because that's my passion and whatnot. But I originally got involved because Timothy Kohlberg, who scored the film, he kept saying, Cheyenne, you've gotta get to know Christian, and something might come up. So finally just came down. Christian needed an extra hand one night, and so I did a little bit of camera assisting, and then Christian and I just got to talking about what might be cool for the movie, and we talked about what this part might entail, and then, as you know, we just kind of digressed off on that, well, this might be really cool if we did this. So that's when the part really developed, was when Christian and we sat down and really started hashing it out, and it turned out to be something totally bigger than what we had really anticipated. It actually even changed the nature of the film because of what we talked about for my role. So it ended up taking on this whole new life, this whole new story, a whole new essence of Terror Vortex. So that was pretty cool.
You too.
So you're going to be the camera guy now. It's definitely a fun process, filmmaking. This film's like, every film Christian makes is a little bit more like professional and big. We started basically like, Christian started with just like a handy cam, and now we're like already getting like crew set up here. But like we're eventually going to get to a point where we're going to have a budget. That'd be awesome. We're almost at that point now. I think that's pretty much what's missing. We have a full crew, we have everything else. I mean, we just need the budget, and once we get that, it's like we're actually making films. So it's a dream come true, pretty much.
Cool. So in this shot, actually, we'll do when we start this up. We'll actually start with you back here.
It points at your face.
Isn't that pretty sweet?
Wow.
And it has a conversion wide lens right now going on right there.
That's slick.
Yeah, talking shop.
What I remember about the origin of the film was Christian had just gotten a Kodak ZI-8 and he'd wanted to do a little test on it, and so Terror Vortex kind of came from that. One day he just called up myself and Jesse Head and just said, hey, I've got an idea for this detective movie, why don't you come down and we'll shoot something. So we're a pretty close-knit group. Christian uses all of us in his films. I use a lot of the same people in my films, and so there's probably a pool of about 10 of us or so that do this kind of thing, and it's actually through the local public access television movie club, is what it's called, MCAT's Movie Club. And so Christian was showing me the footage one day, and there was a newscaster, and he was completely different from anyone I'd ever seen. And I asked Christian who the guy was, because he's pretty good. And Christian said that he was a guy from San Diego.
In this film, I also used my friends from Southern California. Sean C. Phillips, he contacted me on by email saying that he would love to do a part. I said, I don't have any money to fly up here to Montana. That's where I'm shooting it. Well, he emailed me back and said, great. Is there something like a news reporter or something where I can film it myself and send it to you? And then you can just cut it in. And I was all, yeah, I can do that. So we did that. I had him do this news reporter part. I was like, wait, if I'm doing this, if this is going to happen with Sean, I should ask my brother and my friend Trevor if they want parts, and sent it up to me on the internet. And then I edited them, put them in the film, and then that's how I was able to have my friends from California be in this film that I made up here up in Montana.
Well, I've known Trevor for a bit now, and we've done some short films of our own. And he contacted me and said that his close friend from out of town was like, hey, I want you guys to be in my movie, but I can't fly you guys out. So here's a scene, and if you guys can shoot it yourself, that'd be great. And I was down. I was completely down to do that. And I went to Trevor's place, and I mean, that was a lot of fun.
I've actually known Christian Ackerman, the director, since we were wee lads. We used to make pictures together with his little. He had like a KB toy store black and white video camera, and we used to make movies on that. We made quite a few zombie movies, of course. Led to another, and here Christian is making major motion pictures.
I mean, it's awesome
Yeah.
to be able to work on these big movies with him, and to be able to have him think of us from far away was quite the honor. So
Yeah, it's an awesome idea. I wouldn't be surprised if other filmmakers start doing the same thing.
In Lower Manhattan, more bodies have been found during an ongoing investigation by the New York Police Department. Officials say that the bodies found may be all linked to one crime.
We got a Caucasian female, late 20s. She has markings on her left and right temple. It's a shame. She's pretty, to say the least. I mean, she is beautiful.
I just showed up and I asked if I wanted to get involved with Christian Ackerman's film, and he said, yeah, sure, I have a part for you. And he gave it to me, and I played that part as best as I could, give 100%. My whole part in the movie was all just one day, just basically one day, not even a day, probably like a fourth of a day, maybe like 3 hours of actual work that I made into this movie at all. First day, they just had me open the door, look around the corner, look creepy. I went inside their the wine cellar, as we call it, or storage room at the facilities here at MCAT, and we shot it. We got it messed up. It didn't take too much to mess that room up because there's a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, I did that. I did my final, like, my dead scene, when he shot me and I fell to the ground. But he still needed me to be part of the movie, so I was like, oh, so I'll be throughout the whole movie, which I was. And they put me in front of a green screen, and he pretty much put me anywhere. He can put me in a Pampers commercial for all he cares. But once he put me in front of a green screen, he can put me wherever he wanted to. And definitely the chroma wall, green wall that we have here worked great.
I know, this is so funny. Okay, these are just like pickup inserts. So they punch you in the stomach. How about that? I'm gonna go like punch you like this, and then you just come with this and hit me this way. Okay, here we go.
For me, Terror Vortex is kind of like a noir, sci-fi, horror comic book movie. It's not like a lot of horror movies where I'm like really scared or like disturbed. It doesn't really, I mean, it probably does scare people. Like my sister is afraid to watch it. So, but to me it's not really super scary. My girlfriend said it was like Christian Ackerman is telling a ghost story.
There's a scene where the evil doctor, played by Josh Meny, his face is seen, and that's all like, which I felt bad for him. He had to wear, that was his first day of shooting, he had to put on duct tape on his face, and I told him I did it, and Tim did it. Tim, it was just like Tim and I were on set. It was just myself and Tim, my sound guy, he was doing the camera actually, and Josh shows up, and it's his first time filming on this movie, and we tell him, you got to put duct tape and some makeup on your face. Welcome to a Christian Ackerman picture.
I came in and I had to do this thing that I might not like, but that everybody had to do it anyways. But fortunately, that was just putting duct tape on my face and painting over the duct tape.
There's another part where Kevin Black is having a nightmare and he sees Sergeant Matthews yelling at him, and Sergeant Matthews grabs his face and tears it off. And I did that partial CGI and puppet and myself doubling as him, as Sergeant Matthews, or as the actor Jesse Head, wearing a mask completely over my face, a completely covered mask, wearing the hat and everything, and kind of pre-scored rip marks in the mask, and covered it, and then painted my face to look like a skull, and then put a bunch of fake blood, which was basically chocolate syrup, and I think I used chocolate syrup and then some like makeup, like lipstick or something shiny and red, and then I used some black paint, grease paint. So like chocolate syrup, so it was all wet. I might have used jelly. Sometimes I use just jam for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I used that. I put it out all my face underneath the mask, and then on action I just tore the thing off. And that's how I did that scene. That's what I like about these low-end, low-budget movies, is the collaboration and the people that show up on the film, and to work and to, I don't even know what you want to call it, work, more play. You get to play and pretend and then help out and stuff. These people are showing up on their own time, and they're not getting paid. They're just excited to play and hang out and to create and to make something that they're proud of. And so that's why on this level of filmmaking, I think is very unique, and it's something to cherish and something in a good way to take advantage of. And so that's why I like making films at this level. And it's just a great experience, and I love it. And the people you get to meet, and the people that help out, you continue to keep those relationships going, and you end up working on their projects or their things, and you help them out, and then you just keep going, and working on the next project and the next project. And so that's what we do, and that's why I love this this level of B-movie or independent filmmaking. I love it.
All right, actors ready now.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I'm sorry, I'm being mean. I'm being a mean director.
I'm more urgent this time.
Oh, okay.
I'm more like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
worried.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
then,
I want to
yeah.
see this. I want to see how this plays out. Let's see how it goes.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna get out of the way. Go ahead and mark it if we're rolling.
Sounds rolling?
Rolling.
Scene, doctor's office. Take 3.
Alrighty. That's Cheyenne right there on slate. No, sorry. Okay, and action.
No, I'm liking it actually. It's really fun to work with people who just really enjoy doing this stuff. Not necessarily for any purpose other than fun. And there is a purpose beyond fun, and that's cool too. It's just what I'm noticing is this crew enjoys being around each other, and it's pretty comfortable, and it's not. I don't feel self-conscious with the crew, and I think that's really important.
Wait, give me a dead, like right now, just sit up a little bit, and give me one of these, like the Joker dead, like.
Okay.
Okay, get ready.
Do like a zoom on.
Okay, go ahead.
Close up on so you can't see the camera guy.
Go.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Action. You know what? I'm gonna give you a little makeup. We're gonna make it look like you got charred.
I don't know, just making movies is fun. Like, fiction movies is a lot of fun because you're making a world and you can, I don't know, like, I liked working with other people, working in the team, sort of talking about things, maybe creating, like, extra stuff that wasn't originally thought of.
Luke's just directing him so you can get some
Yeah,
inserts, so get what you can, and then you can direct us if you need to get some shots. Okay.
Okay. All right. Then fall into it. Okay. Go ahead. All right. Keep going.
One more time.
All right. One more time.
Because I make films myself, and I always do an outline. I always do a script. I mean, there might be some ad-libbing, you know, because I mostly do comedy. But I always have a script to go by, and Christian just kind of making it up as he goes, just, you know, like a little kid playing with Legos almost, and just putting pieces together, seeing what happens. I just thought that was great, just because it turned into something completely different. You start out with this detective movie, and then it becomes a science fiction horror movie. And because of that, too, he also kind of had me write in a little bit of dialogue where Dr. Kaufman is talking about all the technobabble.
Every brain emits a type of signal, like blood types. What is being transferred? What makes you, you? Is the non-corporeal personality matrix.
It was just a bunch of bull, but I just kind of pulled together a bunch of words. That's what they do in science fiction anyway. But so because of that, Christian was kind enough to give me a writing credit in it, so I'm very grateful for that.
Well, as a musician, I like how like a bunch of people can come together to make music or a film. Like everyone has a job, and if everyone's really good at that particular job, then it turns out a million times better, a billion times better, or even maybe a trillion times better. But it all depends upon how well you work together and how well you're willing to listen to one another. I mean, like sometimes I like to take up the reins a little too much. And there's always like, there's no room for two directors. And sometimes I gotta realize that, and you gotta step back and just let the movie take its course.
Well, if you want to make movies, just make them. If you want to get involved with movies, come to MCAT or probably some place that offers movie making. And it's like anything else, you have to just start from scratch and start out small and just practice and just stay positive and just do it for the inherent enjoyment and not for the superficial recognition. Don't be like, go into it being like, I'm going to be Steven Spielberg or something. Make films for the inherent enjoyment and love of doing it.
A lot of the stuff that we're doing is really fun. Is a lot of good experience, and we're kind of getting in on it from the ground level instead of trying to go right over to Hollywood and jump into the whole rat race and whatnot. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of opportunity for people who want to just make movies right in their own location. But that doesn't mean that you have to perfect this, that, and the other thing that same day. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is don't feel like you have to be perfect at every single facet of film production and acting. It's kind of just a journey, you know. It's all about the journey.
One of the things that I actually did was I watched so many films like over and over again, and I had a lot of people actually tell me, you should stop watching and start making. And I think that, you know, there is something safe to be said about that. But at the same time, I think that you should always watch films as you're making films. I think that there's a lot of fun that can be had through that way, and just learning through other people as well. But I really do think, though, that if you find, you know, it might be hard to find fellow filmmakers out there, but when you do, really try to remember that, you know, there's not many of them, and to just kind of keep that close and just keep working with, like, you know, those friends, because next thing you know, like, you know, you might have a partnership that him and I have, and you're just, you know, working on something where it's literally constantly fun, but at the same time really rewarding. But I would just say watch as many movies as you can, find out what you like, and then try to make what you like, and just keep on trying over and over again.
Yeah, and that's the advice that I've always been told by the directors I used to work with. Was once I started making movies, was just keep on making movies, don't stop. And it really doesn't take much now with the digital age. Just pick up a camera, write a script, and start directing some actors or directing your brothers and sisters, and get a little lighting kit, and just start splashing around and playing with different compositions and just discovering your style. It takes a while to start making stuff that you're actually kind of proud of, but it's still really rewarding, and it doesn't take much effort. Like I said, anybody can pick up a camera and do it, but not everybody can tell a good story. So get a camera and some actors and tell a story.
If you're starting out, if this is your first film, you know, a lot of people will like to pretend they're in Hollywood, but they're not. So you're not going to find Brad Pitt, you know, you're not going to cast Simon Pegg or somebody like that. So you might get all these people who say they're actors, but the most reliable people that you're going to find are your friends. Even if they're not actors. When I was making my Vietnam film, when I've done my superhero parodies, some of the best people that I've found had no interest in acting, and you put them in there, and sometimes they even outshine the actual actors. So it's just another obstacle to overcome, but you're going to run into these roadblocks, and you just cannot let them stop you, no matter what. Find your friends, you know, get them to help you. They're your greatest asset in this, and just keep pushing on no matter what, because filmmaking is hard. It is definitely difficult, and the only thing you need to remember in the back of your head is the feeling when you hit that render button and you see it and it's completely done. Nothing beats that feeling.
What's cool about this film, a lot of the people you see in the movie that are acting are also, when you don't see them in the scene, they're behind the camera running sound or cameras or lights or doing camera assistant, doing the slate work. So we all do everything, so it's like it's really fun. So you get to, what's cool about this level of filmmaking, there's a lot of learning involved. There's education. You get to job shadow and you get to do something. You actually get on-the-job training, and you're not getting paid, but you're getting on-the-job training, which is really cool. It's an educational thing, and it's great because I'm a film teacher too. So as I'm acting or I'm directing, I'm training people that have never used this equipment before. I'm training people that have never done this or done that on, you know, with video production equipment. And so sometimes that is kind of too why my films look the way they do. But I think, hey, it's cool. I don't care. You know, nothing can't be completely perfect. It's an educational thing. And so on this picture, we have a lot of people who it's their first time working on a movie, or it's their first time even handling the equipment. And then after the movie wraps and we're done and we're going to show it, these people have walked away from my movie not just going, wow, I was in a cool movie and I played a cool character, but now they've learned something. Now I'm a great camera operator, or I'm a great jib operator, or I know how to do sound. I'm a great sound person. I'm a sound operator. I know how to run the boom. I can do this. I am a great lighting person. I'm a great script supervisor, camera assistant. I'm all this stuff. I can do this, that, and this, and you just add it to your resume. And then what I try to do is I try to get them, if they're not registered, we try to register them on the Internet Movie Database, IMDb, and then just to kind of get their career started, if you will. So when you're done with working on a Fastcoast Productions picture, or my friends say a Christian Ackerman film, they always call it a Christian Ackerman film, you will walk away with something to add to your resume, definitely. And I'm happy with that because that's awesome. And it's really sweet to be able to help out my friends and people that come and help out.